How you doing, guys? It's Boy Wonder coming at you with my review of my Glock 22 that I've promised for a while. Things have gotten pretty busy around here these past few weeks, but I made time just for you guys to get this review out there. So here it is. Here's my Glock 22 chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. It fires the, you guessed it, 40 Smith & Wesson round. This is a full-size duty gun, whereas it's kind of seen as a gun you have in a holster outside of the waistband on your strong side. My strong side being my left side, but everybody's different, left or right. Let's talk about a few specifics really quick. I'm going to talk about ergonomics right now. I'll be honest and say that ergonomically, the Glock isn't the best gun for me. Whereas how it sits in my hand, it sits pretty well, but especially right here, this hump on the back kind of hits my palm right here, and it doesn't sit as flat as I would like it to. I guess more like a 1911, but what I did was I took a file and some sandpaper and actually sanded the finger grooves down. If you can see, and if you have any experience with the Glock Generation 3 pistols, you'll notice that these finger grooves are less aggressive than on, say, a stock out-of-the-box Glock. Now, this Glock is stock, whereas I haven't changed any of the internals. The only thing I've done is I colored the letters in here green, and I filed down the finger grooves to make it to feel better in my hand, because I like my fingers to be as close together as possible. And so in filing these down, my fingers can sit how I feel, how I like them to be, especially when I'm gripping a gun such as a 1911. It gives it more of a 1911 grip, and it just feels more comfortable for me. The Glock has I'd say a rather sizable grip overall without any modifications. And then what I mean by that is it may not be the best choice for people with small hands. Some guys have smaller hands, and some, especially women, have smaller hands, and they might find this grip to be somewhat uncomfortable. It works pretty well for me. I have medium to large size hands. You can see they're not gorilla hands, but they're a decent size, and the Glock sits well for me, even better that I did the finger groove modification. Now, in terms of firepower, like I said, it fires the 40 Smith & Wesson round. I'm not going to debate on what is better, 49 or 45. It's personal preference, but the Glock, as you all know, it's a normal capacity magazine. This holds 15 rounds. It's for a total capability of 15 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So fully loaded to bear, you have 16 rounds. Now what you could do is put a +2 extension on your magazine, so where you actually get 2 more rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, so you could bring your total up to 18 rounds, which is, in my opinion, a tremendous amount of firepower, especially in a self-defense situation. I can carry my pistol and 2 fully loaded magazines without extensions, 1 in the chamber, and not feel outgunned at all. My personal preference, some guys like to carry 4 or 5 magazines on them. That's not me. I'd take 1 in the gun and usually 1 extra, and I feel pretty secure with that. Going along with the firepower category, Glock actually has aftermarket 22 round magazines. So they're Glock factory mags. Of course, they insert just like this. This is a 15 round mag, but the 22 rounder actually sticks out a little further from the gun. So you get more firepower or capabilities, but the grip is extended a little bit, which isn't that big of a deal in my opinion. In terms of carrying, this gun, in my opinion, is more of a winter carry. And what I mean by that is you can have it in a in the waistband holster or an out of the waistband holster. Pull your shirt down over it, and say you have a jacket on that helps conceal the weapon. Now, I can conceal this in summer clothing, as in, cargo shorts or a t-shirt or a polo. But what I have to do is I actually have to go a size larger than what I wear to help conceal the pistol a little bit. And I'm not a big guy. 6 feet tall, 175 pounds. So if I don't actually wear a size larger, it actually prints. So if I bend over, or even with my shirt moving just from walking, you can see the outline of the gun. And that's not what I want when I'm concealed carrying, and I'm sure that's not what most of you want. I know a lot of bigger guys can get away with it because, they're just naturally bigger. They have more size and mass, so that helps conceal the gun a little better. There are a lot better carry options than this right here, but I figure, or my opinion is, if you decide to carry this as a carry option, great. I like it, and I carry it in summer or winter. Just my personal preference. And I think that's pretty much all I have to say in the firepower category. As you know, at Gen 3s, they have the accessory rail here, so you can attach lights and lasers. There's not too much to talk about that. Let me talk about the trigger real quick. Alright. Always do a safety check, because you can't take misfired rounds back. Trying to line this up in the viewfinder. And trigger brake. Trigger brake. The trigger isn't that bad. Actually, it's pretty darn good. It did take me a little while to get used to, because at first I couldn't figure out exactly where it would break, and it was just a lot different than I'm used to. I'm used to a lot of double action to single action, and double action onlys, and single action. The Glock, to some people, is classified as a double action only trigger, but it just felt different to me. I'm not going to say it was bad. I'm not going to say it was weird. It just felt different. Honestly, though, one of its competitors, the XD and the XDM, I feel that trigger is better than the Glock trigger stock. But that's just my opinion. And you say, well, if you feel the trigger so much better, why didn't you just go with an XT? Well, I like the overall package of the Glock. I like how it fits in my hand. I pretty much like everything about it. The trigger isn't bad. Like I said, the trigger isn't bad. I just feel the XD is better. It's just something for you to think about, especially if you're trying, or you're going to spend your hard-earned money on a new service pistol of this size and category. I'm going to give you all the facts. Okay, so that's the trigger pull. It's good. I like it. I feel that there are some trigger pulls that are better, but that's just me. Overall, personally, I give this weapon a 4.5 out of 5 on my rating scale of what works for me, because I like stuff that works for me. I don't care if it works for the Navy SEALs. I don't care if it works for the FBI. And I'm not talking about this in general. I'm talking about anything. I don't care who it works for. As long as it works for me, I'm happy with it. I feel if you buy a Glock 22, then you made a very good purchase. It's a good gun. It'll serve you well as long as you take care of it. Alright guys, I hope this review was a little bit informative. Stay tuned on my channel. I'm going to be doing some more reviews, and now that I have more time, I'm going to start putting up more videos. So please rate and subscribe and tell your friends. Alright guys, take it easy.